So I started 2023 with literally maybe a couple dozen subscribers, but we're ending the year with almost 10,500 subscribers. It's been a great year for the channel, and I've learned some things along the way. So here's a couple things that I think have helped my channel grow. Now, this may not work for every channel, so if y'all don't know what I do, this channel is where I log progress on a Zelda fan project that I've been working on, a 3D model reimagining the land of Hyrule within the art style of The Wind Waker, a game which took place in a flooded version of Hyrule but never really showed us what the world looked like beneath the waves, at least not in full. So I make videos where I mostly show 3D modeling time lapses paired with a voiceover recorded afterward where I sum up my creative decisions and can talk directly to the audience. So with all that in mind, here are my tips for things that I think have helped my channel grow. Number 1, an authentic voice. Really in the most literal sense, I think my channel really started to grow when I started to inject my own personality into the videos, when I really started to feature my voice in the modeling time lapses. And what that does is it both injects my personality in the video, but it gives people something that they can connect to, someone they can relate to, and really, I think that really elevates the content beyond like I could make content where it's just the modeling time lapse with music underneath. I could really do that, and I don't think that would be lazy, but I think that that's content that I could make. But I think I add a lot of value through giving the audience a point of connection, and I think that makes it more meaningful for everyone watching. Gives them something they can comment about, something they can respond to. Number 2, transparency. So in the beginning, I think I was really careful to, when it came to my content, I wanted to kind of show... I wanted to kind of be a perfectionist about what I showed off, especially because it was a creative project. I didn't want anyone to see that anything was a work in progress, even though the project obviously was a work in progress. And I was clear about that verbally, but I wasn't showing that. I didn't want to show you that, oh, there's parts of the project that just aren't done. They don't even look good. But I think the more I made, the more I was like, you know what? I want to be able to show people the project as it is. I don't want to hide anything, and even though I want to focus on what I've made and what I've finished, I think it added a lot of value to just be straight up about the creative process. And I think that it added value for people to see things as they were being made, to see the creative process, to see things be a work in progress, and that iterative process of, oh, but he kept working on it and it kept getting better. I think people value that as well. People don't want things to be perfect. People want, especially for creative projects, to see it real, to see what it really takes to take something that's crappy and then keep working on it until it's good. Number 3, audience engagement. So this is something that was important to me too, and I've talked about it on my channel, that, I'm not just trying to get an audience, I'm trying to build community. That's something that's really important to me, that especially, in videos like this, I'm talking to y'all, and I know who I'm talking to, that, it's not just a creator and an audience, but I want y'all to know that y'all have an impact on the project, that when y'all leave comments and leave feedback, that I see that feedback, that I can address your concerns, and that, whether you have something good to say or something bad to say, I want to know what y'all have to say, and I want to respond to it. I try to be really intentional about responding to comments, and if I can't do it like in an actual reply, then in a video like this, or in a Q&A, or on my podcast, somewhere where I can actually respond to y'all's comments and actually engage with the audience. I think that that's really important, and I know that if I was leaving comments, that I would want the video creator to be able to respond as well. So I don't know, at least as a creator, I think that goes a long way towards, actually building a community here. So those are some things that I think have been really important for getting those 10,000 subscribers. And, of course, as well, like it bears mentioning that this is a creative project. It's a fan project. I'm tapping into a love that people have for a series that already exists. It's a pre-established franchise. And it's a project that I think a lot of people have already wanted to see. Naturally, just that question of, what would Wind Waker's version of Hyrule look like is a question that fans of the Wind Waker have always had. So I'm tapping into something that already exists, and it's a focused channel, and I think that all those things matter. But I think beyond that, as a content creator, I think, everything that I've listed, that transparency, that authentic voice, that audience engagement, I think that goes a long way to continue to grow subscribers on this channel beyond just the initial interest in the project. So with all of that in mind, how do I want to grow the channel moving forward? Here are my 2024 YouTube channel resolutions. Number 1, continuing current trajectories. So, on the channel already, we have the podcast Unflooded, and we have, our regularly scheduled 3D modeling videos, the time lapses with voiceover recorded over them. And, I found a format there, and I really like that, and I want to stick to it. Being able to show you a lot of progress at once through the time lapse and having voiceover where I can engage with your comments and talk about my creative process, as well as the podcast where I can have special guests and talk with Alex about anything, any questions that y'all have or topics that y'all are interested in, anything that you want to see the two of us talk about. I like both of those formats, both of those video series, and I want to keep that up and continue those going into the new year. And of course, if you have any questions or things that you'd like to see, anything specifically you want to see me model, or questions you have for the podcast, do feel free to leave a comment about specific things that you want to see addressed moving forward. But number 2 is special guests. I actually want to invite more people onto the channel. I've really enjoyed, since starting the podcast, being able to have Alex be a regular guest on the Wind Waker Unflooded channel. And I'd love to have more special guests, especially people that are already in the Zelda YouTuber space. Already, I've recorded a couple of podcast episodes with some special guests, so y'all will hear from them coming soon. But if there's anyone watching this and you're a Zelda YouTuber or any kind of content creator, or anyone that you think that you have something to say and would like to be a part of the show, I invite you to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and have you on the podcast or make a video with you or collaborate in some way. I think this channel, would really grow by not just engaging with the community that we've created here, but engaging with the overall YouTube community as a whole, the overall Zelda fan space. And I'd love for this channel to grow and become a bigger community than it already is. And number 3 is new kinds of content. Like I've said, I've really found a format with Podcast Unflooded in my modeling time lapses, but I'd like to try some new things. Tears of the Kingdom is still relatively, it was released relatively recently, and so I'd love to kind of talk more about that game and respond to it as a Zelda fan, and review some of the other games in the series too, and kind of talk about those. I feel like I have so much to say, and I'd love to share my passion with y'all, and do some other videos as well, not just reviews, but kind of really get into the creative process in a way that I really don't usually do in my modeling time lapses. Maybe doing some more focused videos where maybe they're kind of essay style or discussion style, where I'm really addressing the creative decisions that go into Wind Waker Unflooded, and just kind of talk about what is inspiring me, what is guiding me, what informs my vision for the project and where that comes from, especially for specific locations. So if there's any locations that you'd love to kind of have a more focused deep dive on my creative process for those locations, feel free to comment down below, and I'd love to address those in future videos. And overall, of course, if you have any ideas about how you want to see the channel grow moving forward, any kind of new content that you want to see, anything at all, feel free to leave a comment down below with your suggestions, concerns, feedback. I want to know what you have to say, so comment down below, and I'd love to address your feedback. If you want to be able to support me as a creator, there are several ways that you can make possible the creation of everything that I do. Become a Patreon member. I post all kinds of exclusive content that you can only see first on Patreon. Stuff like behind-the-scenes content for my filmmaking projects, whether that's in-progress scripts, storyboards, rough cuts, anything for my newest films that aren't posted anywhere else besides Patreon. So become a member. There's a whole range of prices, and you can support me even in small ways. That's super meaningful. Supporting me on Patreon too gets you in the credits list of any film that I release while you're a member. And like I said, even a little goes a long way. You can also collaborate with me now through Fiverr. I offer a range of services that could help bring your project to life. Whether you want a voiceover for a video or a performance for a narrative piece, I'm happy to contribute my voice to your projects. As a voice actor too, I have a range of characters I'm happy to provide as well. And if you're looking for a soundtrack for a short film, or even if you just want original background music to use for your videos, I've got you covered on that front too. Just let me know a little bit about the kind of track you're looking for, and I'd love to compose something just for you. And if you've heard any music in the background of this video, that was my music. So feel free to look me up on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Type in Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify. Supporting me is super meaningful. I don't make any ad revenue on Wind Waker Unflooded. If you see an ad on the video, it's because YouTube is putting ads on my videos. I'm not making any ad revenue from this project. It's completely not monetized for me. So if you want to be able to support me as a creator, any way that you can do that means a lot, and it goes towards the creation of all that I do. So thank you to everyone who's supported me along the way. And I thank you all so much for watching. Without further ado, I'll let you go.